taught me that you never waste the flavor of good whiskey with anything other than a little bit of water.
Yeah, so that's why actually my dad taught me that too. He taught me that if you're drinking alcohol, the best chaser, taking shots, the best chaser is water.
Yep.
And
My dad taught me drinking's bad.
That is the perfect way to start this episode.
So yeah, my dad. Every time I roll up to his house or something, and I got a beer, he acts like it's something different. I'm like, you think taught me how to do this?
Yeah, yeah. You're the one that taught me here. All right, let's get a snake. Let's get going. What's up, everybody? We haven't seen you in a while. 3 weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. We fell off the wagon, didn't we?
We fell off hard.
We fell off the wagon.
We got ran over by the.
The wagon has also hit us, and he asked on the way back down into town too. We filmed a 2-hour episode, and I don't want to go into that one. We're going to release it eventually. I think I have a plan for that one, but 2-hour episode we filmed, and that kind of was like...
It'd be better in clips. That one would be better in clips.
And then there was a scheduling mix-up for 2 weeks, which we won't get into.
That's just both of us.
Yeah,
it's just on us being dumb.
But
not realizing we didn't realize April 2nd was a day.
Yeah, April 2nd was a day. I don't know if you knew that, but April 2nd was a day.
Yeah,
and,
it exists.
Yeah, it exists. But we forgot about it, and I actually texted you last week, like, hey man, excited to have you on. And you were like, it's until next week. And I was like...
And I was at the liquor store, and I was like, hey Matt, by the way, I had realized it right before I think he messaged you, and I was like, hey dude, I'm pretty sure we messed up the schedule a little bit.
Yeah, so I got that message, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, I got a 5-month-old and a wife, and we had planned this, and tonight is not a good night for this.
Tonight is not a good night. So, welcome back to the On the Brink podcast. I am Matt Brinker, this is Colby Lykins, and we have Ellis King with us today. So, I'm actually excited about this one because you've... I wouldn't say pestered me, but what is the word you said earlier? Weaseled your way in here?
I've weaseled. I weaseled. I'm just looking for a soapbox to get up and talk a little bit.
Well, that's why I'm excited, because I know that you have opinions and ideas. You've done stuff. You own a business. I won't say too much and let you introduce yourself and what you do here in a second, but I'm excited to have you on to talk because I'm genuinely interested in what you have to say about anything that we talk about. Not that I haven't been in the past, or Colby, you, or Aiden, or anybody else, but I've known you for a number of years, and I'm excited to kind of hear what you have to say, even though we were talking off camera before we started, and just the things you said there. It's like, oh, this guy gets it. He's not a fucking retard. Dude, that's not something you chug.
It's good enough. I'd let it rip, man.
Oh man,
yeah, it's yours.
It's only a little bit left.
The wheels have really fallen off here.
Live your life. It's good.
All right, live your life. All right, Ellis. Who are you? What do you do? Give us the 50-second exactly on the dot.
50-second, you're going to limit me.
On the dot. No, go as long as you want. That's a joke.
I'm Ellis King. Among a lot of things that I've done, I own and operate one of the only commercial fly tying operations, A, in Ohio, and moreover, B, in Southern Ohio. So I peddle fly fishing stuff, flies. I started tying them myself. I've got 4 guys that tie for me. The day job that pays the bills, I'm a manufacturing engineer at a local automotive forging facility. Okay. I've been around the block. I've done a little bit of everything, but I feel like, and we were talking right before this, I'm 35 years old, and I think it takes people, and I've watched a lot of what you guys do. I think it takes people into that 30-year mark for them to figure out who they are and what they want to do in life. Yep. And I'm 35, and it's still that those goals and those dreams, they're not static. It's dynamic. Like every day, it changes a little bit.
Always moving.
Because if you would have asked me 10 years ago if where I'm at right now, that would not be. It just changes.
Yeah. That's interesting because I've been thinking about that a lot here very recently because stuff's in flux, things are moving, things are changing, and there always are. And I've always said anything constant in life is change. And adaptability and resourcefulness, I think, are 2 of the most important things in human existence because the only thing constant in life is change. You're constantly, from the minute you're born, you're starting to die, and things are always changing around you no matter what. And being able to be adaptable and to be able to roll with that, and then not necessarily having resources, because there are people that are born with resources, and when those resources run out, it's whether you're resourceful or not. It's whether you can go find that, it's whether you can go get that money or generate whatever you need to happen. And I think I've been really, really honestly, even today I was driving somewhere, I was thinking okay, The only thing constant in life is change. Remember that. It's okay that things are different, things are changing, that's fine. Because I have a tendency to want to control things. And I mean, I think everybody really does. And I really want to control things a lot, and I can't because stuff's changing. So
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. I mean, you've been dealing with stuff. You've had a lot of change. Actually, in the last 3 weeks, you've had a lot of change. How long have you lived in Jackson now?
April 1st. So
Yeah, so it's been
April Fools.
Yeah. April Fool's Day.
Colby lives in Jackson now. He's about to become pretty much my full-time go-to bartender here, which was part of the whole plan from the get-go. We knew we were going to lose Roland, and he's now, I don't know if he's like publicly announced when it is, but he's told us that he's heading off on get a big boy job. I don't know if those exist, but I mean, I guess they do.
They do.
I mean, for me to bartend what he's doing, I have a sneaky suspicion. I'm going to say it here so I can call back to it. I bet Roland ends up back in the service industry.
In the circus industry?
No, not the circus
Lions and
industry.
tigers.
My hearing is so bad.
That's
Oh
cool.
my.
It's cool. It's cool.
Lions, tigers,
Service
bears.
industry. He's been in it for like 9
service.
years. He's served forever. And he's bartended now here for almost a full year, and he served for a long time before that. It's like, this is all he's really known is this. He's had other jobs here and there, but like, I don't know. Which I want to get to that in a minute. We talked about that off camera before you came here. Let's address what this is and what you just chugged.
I didn't chug it. I gave him 2 sips.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
We've been kind of
I
working
helped
on
him.
it.
All right, okay. I don't know if we've ever really talked about it here, but I mean, the bar does do cocktails and liquor and wine. We do really high-end cocktails,
I was
honestly.
gonna say, based on what I saw when I walked in, there's no well stuff there. It's all pretty good.
Yeah, there's a couple things I would call well, and the rest of it's pretty solid alcohol.
Yeah.
We do really good margaritas, painkillers. I've got a Moscow Mule, and yes, Jamie, if you're watching this, I paid for it, and yes, Colby paid for that because that was expensive.
Yeah.
That is a
I
private.
walked in, I pulled out $10. I was like, all right, we're doing
That was
this.
a $9 one shot of alcohol that was Maker's Mark Private Select. It's 70 some, closer to 80, isn't it?
It's
Or-
delicious.
It's $70 and I think a penny after tax.
Okay, so 70, wow. Colby works at the liquor store still, we know. But yeah, this is a little bit different thing. Colby asked if he could have that. I was like, I don't really care. I think it was cool to actually be able to talk about it and showcase it. Because
Yeah.
we do a lot of liquor sales here in the bar, as well as our fantastic beer. So
And even with this being so with the private select, they did a bunch of different styles with each one because the finishing staves are different with each one. And this one is the Great 88. I saw some others that some people had posted on social media, but this one, I really like it. The nose is amazing. The finish is really great. It really goes down smooth. It's warm. It's good. It's a really good bourbon.
yeah, I mean, it's worth $9 for it. And
Yeah,
that's,
for
it
sure.
sounds like an outrageous price in like Southern Ohio, but like really, it's actually pretty cheap. We could
Man.
sell it for a lot more.
Yeah,
and
for
still
sure.
get money out of it. So.
For sure.
Last bit of business. Thank you as always, Six Sense Brewing, for allowing us to film here, allowing us to have the beer, the alcohol that we paid for this time. Just make that note. What we are drinking beer-wise, is the Pineapple Mango Merc Shake. There's a lot of confusion about what a Merc Shake is in here, especially. I don't know if I briefly gave you a rundown on what it was. This is our most popular beer, Merc Juice. Is a New England style IPA, which is going to give you kind of grapefruit, orange, maybe a little bit of pineapple, citrus flavors and aromas. It is full of hops, but it doesn't give you the dry, bitter hoppiness that most people avoid with IPAs. The next one for us is Mercamus Juicimus. It's a double version, so it has more dry hopping, has more hops in it. It's much stronger on ABV. I think that goes up to 6.8 for Merc Juice. Mercamus is 8.6, so they flip-flop. But it's a double, same thing. It gives you, because of the hops and there's more hops in it, the pineapple is actually more present in the Mercamus Juicimus.
Yeah.
So there's actually not any pineapple in this, it's the hops. But there's a fuckload of, and you can cuss by the way if you want, I don't know if you want to or not, but you're more than
Right
welcome to,
on.
because we fucking love cussing.
He's like, oh darn, I really wanted to cuss.
There is a lot of mango in that. They also put a traditional milkshake IPA. They put lactose and vanilla in. I don't know that we put vanilla in this one. I know we put lactose in it.
Yeah, I was
Gives it
gonna
more
say I
like a
didn't.
creamy feel in your mouth and on the back end. I think this is really probably the best beer we've ever made. It is our highest rated beer in terms of Untapped. It's just fantastic, man. It's 9.1%, but it drinks like adult Sunny Delight, basically.
Yeah, I feel like this will get you in trouble real quick.
Yeah. I got a
Dude,
little
I
bit of
sold
trouble.
so many crowlers of this, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know how many we sold last week? We sold 34 crowlers last
I
week.
was gonna say I did like at least 15.
Yeah, it was like 30. It was either 24 or 34 we sold. In the last week we sold 141 total sales of this in the last week alone, which I guess kind of sounds like a small number. I guess as I say it now.
But when you're talking, those are to go.
Well, no, not to go.
Oh, you're talking. Sorry, I didn't listen to anything you just
there
said.
were 20.
Whatever you just said, completely.
I was just thinking about crowlers the whole time.
Yeah, there was 20. I think it was 24 crowlers, 4 growlers. Those are 32 and 64 ounces respectively, and then there was another 101-ish sales, which that math doesn't add up. So there's 100 and something sales of glasses.
Hey, Matt, you got those books so we can verify those numbers?
Yeah.
They're over there. I can pull
We're
it up.
gonna need-
I could pull it up.
I'm just
I'm gonna
scribbling.
go get my spectacles.
Yeah. 12 or 20 ounce pours because our Beer Club members get a larger pour whenever they buy beer here. That's part of the perks of being our beer club. Anyway, let's talk about the beer. Thank you for allowing us to film in here.
Definitely.
We appreciate it. We're actually going to switch over, I think, to Monday starting next week. Did you get a hold of those people yet?
Sort of. I still have to talk to
As
them.
soon as we're done today, we need to do that because I got this message in good.
Yeah.
Back to Ellis. That took us 10 minutes to get
Yeah,
around all
it did.
that. We're really good about going multiple places, but always
That's
coming back
fine.
to the
Let's
same
go to
spot.
left field and come back.
Yeah, we do it all the time, man. And actually, just random side note again, I love Moscow mules. I always have loved
Moscow mules are great.
They're fantastic.
I've not had the Kentucky mule. I need to get one of those
It's
sometime.
good. Have you ever had a Kentucky mule?
I have.
Yeah.
I did live in Kentucky for a small bit of time.
We said, or you said actually, before we started, when you first came in, you were talking about people working in as a bartender or food service, and actually that whole 2-hour episode was really about that and stories from that because it was Roland, the guy we're losing, and then Dustin, who runs our truck, food truck out here. We were talking about food service. Now, I think everybody should have to do it, and I'd like for you to maybe elaborate because Colby didn't hear it. On what your thoughts are on that, because I think it is important for everybody to do some kind of service or whatever industry job.
Yeah, so like kind of a pretense to tonight's show, and Colby and I kind of talked about it, and you and I talked about it before. I'm thinking about what I would say, and it's all about motivation. So and how people get from where they're at to where they want to go, and there's a few bits of advice that, just my perspective and my angle and what I've seen. And there's a few jobs that I think everyone, outside of if you're going to go do the cookie cutter, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be an engineer. And by rights, I am an engineer, right? But while you're trying to figure that out, if you don't really know what you want to do, I think everyone should work in the food service or bartending.
Yep.
I think everyone should be in somewhat of a skilled trades, or you build something with your hands, you work with your hands. And I think everybody should work in retail. And when I say retail, that can be from clothing to a gas station, and I'll elaborate a little bit further on just those three. And there's all kinds of little side kickers. So first, bartending and serving. That teaches you salesmanship, reading people, being personable, understanding what people want, also understanding the failures of when you say you walked up to a table or you walked up to a customer and you pissed them off and they walked out. You realize real quick what you did wrong.
Oh yeah. The general public lets you know pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Typically.
pretty quick.
There's usually no 3-strike rule. It's usually 1 or 2.
Oh yeah.
The retail industry, just because, depending on where you end up landing, and I talk about like in your 30s, and for some people, everybody's different. Sometimes it's your 20s. Some people know when they're 22 years old exactly what they want in life, and God bless them. I didn't. I felt like I did. So the retail side of it is you learn the distribution channels of how things work. If you end up wanting to be, if you want to run your own business, and how things work, the fact that the phone chargers that sit at the counter, they don't come from the phone charger manufacturer. There's a distributor that does that. You learn that stuff, and you understand that when the fuel truck comes in, who's writing the checks and how all the fuel prices work. And then building something with your hands. I think everybody needs to step out of their phones and go build something. And whether you hate it or not, do it for a little bit. Work at a greenhouse. go roof a house,
Yeah.
you know, go do anything. And then what that will give you is a skill set if you do it right. Now, if you just sit there with a negative attitude and you're
Yep.
pissed the whole time, then you're never going to squeeze what you want out of it.
Yep.
And then you've got nothing from that experience. And I feel like that's a big problem with people is they're in less than ideal situations and all they want to do is concentrate on how shitty it is versus, okay, it's shitty and this is not where I want to be in life. What can I squeeze out of this before I move on to the next phase of my life, and how can I use that? I'll tell you, I spent 5 years at developing my education to where I finally got a degree. But the things that I learned in those jobs that I was working to pay for rent or pay for books or pay for a car payment, those things stuck with me for the rest of my life, because your 20s, you know, your late teens into your 20s, very impressionable.
Yeah.
And they're going to develop who you are.
I just told Aiden, we were setting up, and he told me, I won't give it away. He told me he realized where he wanted to go to school, and he knows now. He thinks he knows now, which that could change. But I told him, I said, dude, it really doesn't matter where you go to school. It's going to open some doors for you to have that degree. Like, you have your job, you wouldn't be able to have it without a degree. And, like, some things I've done, I wouldn't have been able to have without a degree. But, like, it'll open some doors for you to go to X school or Y school or Z school or whatever. But, like, the people you meet and the lessons you learn along the way are what really
And the
matter.
people you grow with.
Yes. People that are there. And, like, I'm actually really happy, at least for several reasons I'm happy what he told me. And because I think it's a good spot for a lot of reasons. But I think you said about, like, timing and stuff like that, dude. You said earlier off camera too, like, you know, I'm 27, still kind of figuring it out. I'm 32 and I'm still figuring it out. I know I love bartending for what it is, and I really love this place and what I've helped to build here. But I don't really want to be here long term because, I mean, unless that's all I'm doing. If I give up media completely and I do bartending to manage the bar, that's all I do, great. Because I can have fun, I can go golf, and I can meet people.
But you
I can
have a
go
business plan that you want to accomplish
Yes.
with your media house.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, like, you know, I work a relatively high stressful job. I mean, in the rewards on the back end of it is typically, it pays pretty well. But I'll be honest with you, if I were to pick one job to where I said I had to go to work, I miss bartending. Like, it was fun.
Yeah.
And I
It's
worked
fun.
at a shitty bar in Lexington. I was the lead
Lexington's
bartender
a fun town, man.
It was, but it was at a terrible restaurant. I think they're closed. They condemned it after I left. But I mean, dude, I poured 99-cent drafts for the most part. So but again, I mean, it was fun, and it teaches you also the hustle.
Yeah.
If I walked in and I knew how to bill, I could make $200, $400 that night.
Yeah.
It was all on me.
Yeah.
And so I don't know whether you guys do this, and I don't know whether this happens. Man, I had the hostesses on payroll. I had everybody on payroll because if I just, you know, if I make $400 in a night, I'll kick them 15 or 20, bust my tables.
Yeah.
That's just this more turnover.
Yeah.
That teaches you that hustle mentality of how much money
You know
you
that
want
a
to
lot
make.
of places I've worked would not let you do that. Like they
Well,
would,
I probably wasn't allowed either.
Well, yeah, like I remember at the first place I worked as a server, I mean, you weren't allowed to do that. Like, you were not allowed to pay someone to clean your table and all that stuff. Because what would happen is you pay someone to clean your table, and then someone would half-ass it, and then you'd be like, oh, well, I paid him. And they'd be like, well, you know, he just paid me to do it extra, and like I had all these little tables, so the buck always got passed at that restaurant. And then they were like, well, no one can do that anymore, so they axed it there. It doesn't really happen here because really, in this establishment right here, you have 2 bartenders behind the bar at all times, pretty much.
You got a bar back?
No, it's just 2 bartenders, and there's usually 1 person in the truck, and that's it. But like we do, you know, we take care of each other when when the truck gets slammed and it's busy. We try to take care of each other, and then at the end of the night, I'll sometimes buy a couple beers or whatever for someone, and then we just try to take care of each other in general too. Like, you know.
Well, and so going back to like the bartending serving is that in itself is a manufacturing organization. If you work at a restaurant that's got a bartender, you've got a bartender, you've got servers, you've got cooks, you've got the whole 9 yards. And if you take care of everyone, you will be more successful.
Oh yeah.
You take care of your bartender, you're not going to be sitting there waiting on drinks.
Yep.
And in my instance, when I'm talking about that, you take care of your hostess, they're going to keep you seated.
Yep. Keep you seated. They're going to give you tables that Because I mean, whether we like it or not, everybody kind of like, you look at a table and you go like, what's this table going to do tonight? Like
You try to read it.
Yeah, you can read it. And
If
that
someone
happens here.
orders a steak and ketchup, you already know that that's a bad table.
Yeah, exactly. Well done, butterfly.
Well done steak.
Butterflied with sweet tea and ketchup. Then
Yeah.
you know, there is, no matter how good or bad of service you give that person, you are getting no more than
You
$5.
could piss salt on their
$2.
plate and they would be like, yeah, here's $1.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. And like the first place I worked, it was $5 Sundays. Everybody after they came out of church, $5, no matter what. You'd have people run out $200 bills and then $5. It was $5 Sunday, and that
But you also learn, and that's a life lesson. You just learn to take it.
Yeah,
And that you don't always
is
get
part.
what you work for.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's also and one thing that I preach all the time to a lot of the guys that I work with and a lot of people I talk is expectations. If you go into any situation with expectations based on someone else,
yeah,
you will always be let down.
yep,
Yep.
that's so true.
That's why when I used to play a lot of pool in the bars, like, you want to play teams? No, I'm good. Because then
Dude, I hate relying on somebody else.
yeah, so and
I hate it.
And this goes for like, your girlfriend or your marriage or just being buddies with somebody. If you go in with like preconceived expectations, you will almost 100% be let down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have expectations in yourself, but roll off the expectations on other people
Yeah.
because you're probably setting the bar too high.
Yep. That's what I think. Yeah, I've heard it from a lot of different people, but Gary Vaynerchuk in particular always says, like, he says he gets asked questions about how do you get everybody to work as hard as you do in your organization, and he's like, I don't. They don't own the fucking company.
It's not
I don't
it's
pay
not
them.
on them, yeah.
I don't pay them the same that I get paid. They don't take home the same. Like,
There's a reason why your hustle has
Yeah.
to be higher than everybody
exactly.
else's.
If I want them to hustle like me, I better damn well pay them like me because they need to give a fuck about it, and they really do need to care about it. And that's something, dude. This is a random sidebar, but it's something I want to get out into the world because last Friday I got the opportunity to photograph Urban Meyer, the former head coach of Ohio State, and listen to him talk. And he talked about leadership. And this is something I've harped on my whole life because you're a couple years older than me, I'm a couple years older than him, but we're all kind of in the same generation. But I've always felt like the older generation than me had leadership wrong. It was, this is the expectation, you do it. You set that bar and meet it. And Urban Meyer was talking about how he said his 1970s, 1980s definition of leadership was set an expectation and demand everyone live up to it. And he said, now, my definition, I have it written down, I hope I don't fuck it up, but his definition of leadership is, first of all, earn trust, with great clarity, set expectation, and then do everything to empower and inspire others to achieve that standard. And it just, for me, was like even now, it's like a little bit of cold chills because like, it's so much more, it's not like, I'm your boss, work for me. It's, here's what we're gonna do, guys. And here's how we're going to do it. And that expectation was set, and that's what he said, with great clarity. It's not like taking shots in the dark. It's, first of all, I earn their trust. Then I show them, here's what we're going to do and why, with great clarity. It's something that we know we want. And he said at Ohio State, it was win a national championship, obviously. But actually, what he said, this was crazy too. He said, the goals were clear at Ohio State. He said it kind of jokingly, but he said, the goals were clear at Ohio State. Recruit the best players, win a national championship, never lose a game, graduate every player, make sure all of them get drafted in the NFL, and make sure you beat the team up north every year no matter what. So basically like zero failure at all.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that he said, like, first of all, earn trust to be a leader. Then with clarity, set an expectation. Don't just set some expectation arbitrarily. I like that he qualified that, but then I love that he said, do everything in your power to inspire and empower them to achieve that standard.
Yeah, so but what if you have someone that is super capable and does their job but is uninspirable?
My first question would be, do they care about it? Do they care about the job, or is it just paying the bills?
Well, so if you take a fleet of people, if you take 15 deep, everybody's got their own personality, and you've got your own motivators, you've got your own motivators, especially when it comes to a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's going to do things different. So what do you do? Because there's always going to be the 80-20 rule. You're going to get the majority of them with that bulk. So what do you do with the other ones? And they're probably the 20% are your high performers.
Yep.
So how do you deal with them? that may need a little special twist. And I'll tell you a story. I worked for a guy, and I'm not going to name drop him because he's since retired, but he was one of those rule with an iron fist. He was a big old dude. Like, he put 4 inches on me, and he was broad. He played basketball at Glenville State, like full ride. And one thing I liked about him is the expectations were so clear.
Yeah.
And the only people who were scared of him were people who were underperforming.
Yeah.
And I can remember he looked at me one time in a performance review and straight told me, Ellis, I don't care if you work 60 hours a week, if you work 30 hours a week. If I'm not hearing about your stuff, you're good on me. And when Ashley was going through dental hygiene school, I'd come to him and he'd be on his way to a meeting, busy guy, right?
Yep.
And I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna come in early and then I'm gonna leave early because I'm gonna go down there and get my teeth cleaned he wouldn't even make eye contact. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because, the expectation was, as long as I'm not hearing that you're not getting your stuff done,
Yep.
I don't really care.
Yep. As long as it gets done.
So I guess for me, it's like if someone is more efficient than someone else, because very well, we could do the same task, and just because of standardization and the way I'm wired, I may do it twice as fast as you guys, just as good.
Yep.
And then I'm just sitting there bored.
Yep.
Should I have to stay?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so
I
either.
think every standard, and I guess I should qualify that what Urban said, and what I think too is I think every what Urban said, everybody has different motivation. Like, some kids just want to win that ring and flash it so they can get laid, and some kids want this and that, whatever. And I think like your motivations are different than Roland's motivations here, and Aiden's motivations are different, and your motivations for being here are different than mine. I think everybody needs, to be met where their motivation is and what it is. I think that's the job of any leader. I feel
what it comes down to is, sorry for cutting you off, is understanding who you're working with.
Yes.
And what you have below you, and how you can connect that to whatever your company is, or whatever the goal is for whatever they're trying to do. So like when I worked with the kids in the school, I worked with the same group of kids for 3 years. I was just an interpreter, but at the same time, you interpret, but you also see the classroom.
Yeah.
You experience it like a teacher because you're saying everything the teacher's saying, and then you also help because I was an aide as well. So seeing some kids, there were some kids I could reach right off the bat in kindergarten when I first started. There were some kids I didn't understand until 2nd grade, and I didn't know how to reach them.
Yeah.
I didn't understand anyway because I didn't know what they went home to. I didn't know why they came to school. I didn't know why they got in trouble.
That's that gain trust part that everyone's talking about. I think that's the beginning, is learning about the person and earning their trust first before you can actually motivate them and get them where they want to go.
Well, yeah, you can't motivate someone. You can't set someone's future if you don't know their past.
Yeah, I agree
if you
with
don't
that.
know their current position.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that. And it was so cool though. Like, and I think I guess my answer to what you said is, you got to meet everybody at where their motivation is. You got to learn about them, and I have great respect for someone like that. Like, I don't really care what happens in this bar as long as the customers are happy and we all make money.
yeah.
Like, and as long as things are accounted for, the customers are happy and we make money, I don't care. Because I want Colby to be Colby, I want Roland to be Roland, I want Madison to be Madison.
Well, you hired us, not somebody else.
Yeah, I hired you guys for a reason because I liked your personalities, and I want, like, the guy I keep talking about, Roland, I hired off of a tweet. He tweeted the account. And I was like, this dude has to have some balls to think this is going to get him hired. I want to talk to him. And when I sat down and talked to him, I was like, oh, I like this guy.
Right.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's since become like I can't tell you how many people are not, no one's going to cry. I mean, somebody might cry.
I will.
Are you going to cry?
No,
I'll
I'm not
cry.
gonna
I feel like
I'm
you
gonna
may,
cry.
because
No.
you've mentioned this a lot. I feel like this is hanging over your head pretty heavy.
Well, no, because it's a big thing. It's a big thing for us because he's been such an integral part of this bar for the past year, and he's got such a great personality that people love to hang out
And they want
be
to
here
come
with.
to the bar to hang out with him.
So it's a loss for us, and I think it's important to acknowledge that, whether he ever sees us or not, to acknowledge what he's done. Just like the people that were here before me enabled this place to be successful before I came here, and set me up to take it. And it's not all me. I'm saying that it's not all me, but like set it up for me to be able to assist in taking this place to another step. Mm-hmm. And so whenever Grant stopped bartending and went to brew, and whenever Cody left and all them, I even when Brittany left, I was like, thank you so much. I appreciate everything you've done here, and I wish you the best, because it's important to acknowledge that they were a part of this whole story to make this thing work. Because without Cody and Grant, who worked and...
I mean, they're the guys who got me in here.
Yeah.
Grant is the dude who literally, if it weren't for that, I wouldn't give a fuck about 6 Sense Brewing up to the point of, other than it's another place I pass by.
Right.
So I hated IPAs when I first came in here. I really did. I didn't drink beer really when I first started coming in here. I drank a little bit. I just started drinking.
I really didn't either.
And then I came in here and I met Grant. I knew Cody. Cody and I have been buddies for a really long time, actually, since I was like 16. But I met Grant, and I just loved his personality. He was really fun to be around, and he was an interesting guy. And
he gets knocked for his personality. He gets knocked.
See, I love his personality.
I think Grant's great.
He's the reason that I literally started doing that. And then I met Matt, and then Matt became the manager here. And I told Matt, I was like, I really want to work for your brand because I love Archinetti's, I love 6 Sense, I love the beer. I think the environment's great. I see the impact it's having on the community, and I want to be a part of that story because
it's a chill environment too.
Yeah.
So I guess I want to kind of take it and steer us towards timing, because you alluded to it before about everybody's timing in life is different. We talked about it before, wanted to talk about it on here. I think it's so important because I think there's so much pressure that's put on children. I'm sure even Aiden right now is feeling a little bit of it. There's so much pressure put on younger people to know what they're doing and know where they want to go and where they want to go to school and what they're going to do with their life. And everybody that finds out you're a senior probably goes, well, where are you going to school next year, right? And then, well, what are you going to study and what are you going to do with the rest of your life, which could be anywhere from hopefully longer than 40 years to however long. You know, like, that's a long time. And you're only, like, I've lived 30 years, 32 now. I would like to think I'm going to live another 32 at least. And then that's a whole other lifetime and all the experiences. But I felt so much pressure my entire life, not from any one person or conversation, but just from like everything around
culture,
me.
like
to like know what the fuck I'm gonna do and know what I want to do with my life and have it all together and have all my bills perfectly paid and all that shit. Like, and I've struggled with that, man. And only really in the last 2 years have I had any real clarity.
And you said 2 years. 2 years ago you were 30, and like you said, 30 is a good point. And I feel like I'm getting closer, and I'm 27, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we want to roll straight into the timing, from a society standpoint, I feel like, honestly, like guys like Aiden, like senior, right, getting ready to go to school, I feel like we're doing you guys an injustice in school.
Yeah.
Because I mean, straight up, you look on Instagram, you look on Facebook, which I understand Facebook's the old guy. I'm 35, so I'm showing my age, right? Nobody, it's all.
Look on the Snapchat and the Twitters.
Yeah, it's the Snapchat and the Twitters. But honestly, like you take somebody and if they've got a passion, I'll use this as a perfect example. They've got a passion for helping people. That is super good. If you've got that deep in your soul and you're like, I want to help people. So you're going to go to a nationally accredited university and spend a shit ton of money investing in yourself. I'm going to use that because that is exactly what you're doing.
Yeah,
you are whether you've got a full ride, whether someone's paying for it, or whether you're taking student loans out, you are investing in yourself.
Yes.
All right? And you're going to go get a 4-year degree in social work or occupational therapy. It doesn't matter, whatever you feel like you want to do. So the problem is that you graduate, top of your class, and you go out into the workforce and you realize that job starting out, working for a state-run organization, is worth $25,000 a year.
Yeah.
And my big thing is we're not teaching people that. I'm fully for, if you want to help people, go do it. Go get that education if that is your passion. Go invest in yourself and learn the skills that it takes.
But be educated in the fact that.
But understand that a new Lexus, what it costs and what the payment's going to be on a 60-month note. Understand what a little 2-bedroom house is going to cost to rent or buy.
Yeah.
And I don't think we do that. And I think we all go through that learning curve of, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then you got a lot of kids coming out of school that, and again, they look on social media. I want the G-Wagon, I want the big house on the hill. Yeah. And sometimes school is the answer and sometimes it's not. But I don't know that we're doing people justice, like balancing a budget. I mean, let's face it, I don't want to go political.
It's taken me years. I'm just now to a point where I feel like I'm smarter financially than I've ever been up to this point in my life.
I am too. So I just did my taxes yesterday, and what's funny to me is I did my taxes last night. They got done at 9 p.m. last night, but I was legitimately scared because this is the first real year that I made some money off of media, and I had no idea how to do any of this shit. And it was so funny that I took a break for a minute. And I pulled up Instagram, and the first thing that popped up was a post from Gary Vee, and he was having a conversation with Wale, the rapper.
Yeah.
And I guess Wale got in a bunch of tax trouble like a few years back, and it was a clip that was memed and made I don't know if you watch it. I think you watch Gary Vee stuff. Like they'll meme some stuff
None.
and all that.
Absolutely
You
nothing. I start drinking beer every time you say his name.
Yeah, but it's
Though I don't have a problem with him. It's just like a funny thing.
It said like something to the effect of like fuck grades, teach kids about taxes, and like I agree with the taxes part. I mean, we still need to get good grades, and again, it is an investment in themselves. But that was meant to be on there as an attention grabber, so people would click on the video to watch it. Is why it was there. But Wally's point was like I didn't learn all that stuff. I think he graduated high school. I don't know if he went to college, but he didn't learn about taxes. I didn't know. So I actually, last night, I'm trying to do my taxes. I punch in a couple numbers. It says I owe $12,000, and I freak out.
Right.
I freaked out immediately. I was like, I texted my buddy who's a CPA and my boss, Jamie, and was like, it says I owe $12,000. And it was like, there's no way I should owe that much money. And that was before I even put any of my media shit in there. And I freaked out because I've never learned about this shit. All I've done is taxes is like had a W-2 and all that stuff, punched it in, and you owe this much or you get this much back, and it's basically done.
Right.
That was just my W-2 though. And Max is like, calm down, punch everything in again and see. Sure enough, I'd put an extra number somewhere, so instead of whatever
Those
number it was.
decimal points are real important.
Yeah. So then,
Real important.
So then it said I owed 75 off the rip, and I was like, okay, I can deal with that
Right.
one. And then I started putting all my media shit in, and like it was scary because I don't want to get in trouble for this, but I also don't want to have to pay a bunch of money. So I just put everything in. Like this is what I made. This is all my expenses. I had traveled, blah blah blah, whatever. And by the end of it, I ended up getting some money back, but I felt good about it. But I was like all that like terrified fear and angst.
It was just from not knowing.
Not knowing.
And that is
didn't
the
know.
biggest fear in life in general.
Yeah.
Is not knowing. Like death. Everybody fears death because we have no verifiable proof of what's going to happen when we die.
Yeah, but like and I agree with you with that. But taxes and death, I feel like are two separate.
Death and taxes, man. They're the only two things that are.
And I'm speaking from a guy who's had the IRS in my basement.
Oh, shit.
So I mean that's real
wow.
stuff.
Yeah.
And again,
But
that's
it's
like,
something that can be educated. It's just not.
it can be educated, and again, if you use those experiences rather than look at the negative, and I mean, she left with me writing her a check. You use it as a building block.
Yeah.
And
I was just said earlier, you said attitude about like
Attitude.
It's all attitude.
And
and what you take
mindset.
from it.
It's mindset.
attitude and mindset.
Yeah, because that could be a huge L for you, or you can go, okay, now I'm going to do it better, and I'm not going to lose that money. I'm going to make sure I take care of it, and you learn from it, and you grow from it, and you get more experiences, better experiences from it, instead of going like, oh, woe is me, I had to write all this money.
Woe is me is excuses and blaming other people are the two things that I will not stand for.
Yeah.
We're
It's
just laying in self-pity.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
so taxes, and you bring up a very good point. Like, had you done your taxes and had you owed $12,000, there's a lot of people, and quite honestly, they're going to watch this video that would blame someone else.
Yeah.
The fact that they owe the federal government of this country money that they just didn't know that they were going to have to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whose fault is that?
Yeah.
Falls
back on yourself.
And whether someone's taught you that or whether you went out and said, all right, before I start this media venture, I'm going to see what kind of tax implications there is.
Yes.
And honestly, yesterday you probably had a learning curve.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some things, there's some new stuff brewed in Matt Brinker's head.
Yeah.
That, all right, next year I know what to look for.
Exactly.
I know what to do.
Yep, I know what to do. I know I need to have all my receipts, but thankfully, like I buy everything through Amazon. Almost every single one of my expenses for my business
that is true.
is through Amazon. So I knew I knew how much I made. I had that number already. I had no idea what exactly my expenses were, but I knew my expenses, or at least I thought, were more than what I made last year. Because I bought all this shit that I was talking about that we have for the podcast.
You probably missed something.
Oh, I'm sure. I actually forgot to include my $3,000 computer.
Yeah.
I forgot my computer. $3,000 on my computer.
And did you depreciate it?
No. See, but I've got to even expense it at all. Like, it's not even factored in there.
It never happened then.
Yeah, exactly. So that's money that I just spent, and that, I could have gotten more money back from the government from.
Tax 101. Matt Brinker sells it to the whatever media company you want to use.
Yeah.
Depreciate it.
True.
Solid point.
See, but like, I did do a couple semesters of accounting, and then one of my best friends is an accountant, so I knew a little bit about it. My dad's always done his own taxes. Usually from April 1 to April 14, he locks himself in a little trailer and does a little taxes, and then hands it in on April 15th. Or sends a check, whatever he does. But I knew from that, and this is the other thing, is like misinformation. I've been told by so many people I was going to get screwed on taxes this year. And I was like, no, like...
When you told me you hadn't done them yesterday, or was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
At the liquor store?
Yeah, that's why I went and got liquor.
I was literally
I went and bought liquor from him because I was so fucking scared.
And he told me he hadn't done them yet, and I was like, oh, in my head,
make it better.
No, but it made it more enjoyable.
I was like, damn it, that's not good. I mean, because I started thinking about his media stuff, and I am not educated on taxes. I can fill out my W-2s, and I can throw that shit in, and it's a formula. You just do whatever you have to do. The information's right there. You just copy and paste it over.
TurboTax.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But misinformation too. Like, I've had people tell me I was going to be screwed because I didn't have an LLC yet and all that stuff. But I'm a sole provider though. Like,
so let's go into that. Like, people scared you.
Yeah.
Right? People said you're going to lose your
people
ass.
that I thought I should listen to.
Right, 100%. You know why? Because people love to sell this doom and gloom story all the time. Always.
Yeah.
They want people to think they're going to fail before they've even been given the opportunity.
Yeah, dude. I hate that. I try to be such a positive person as often as I can. I try to be. And you probably hear more of the negative than anybody, but I know I can
That's
bitch
because
to you.
I'm around you
I
quite
can
a
bitch
bit.
to you,
Right,
and then
right.
it's just done.
Yeah.
And that's it. I've usually got to get it out, and then it's done. And I was talking to somebody last week. I was like, I'm pretty even keel. Like, if something really bad happens, I'm going to be like, I'm going to go down a little bit, but I'm going to come right back up, and I'm going to give you the same shit the next day. But yeah, you're right. Doom and gloom happens all the time, and I try to combat that with positivity or whatever, whatever I can. But
However, positivity can't be...
We can do blind positivity too.
You can, but you also you can't mask positivity over top of reality.
That's
Right.
true.
And
I have a tendency to do that.
The
I
reality
agree with that statement.
the reality is it probably just this based on Ohio weather, it's probably going to rain in the next 5 days.
God, I hope not. I'm golfing tomorrow.
But it probably will, right?
Yeah.
I'm literally checking.
And that's
you,
the
can,
thing.
you can be super positive and be like, no, it's not. And check it. It's probably
Well,
gonna
most
do
of the
it.
time that you're that positive is you're living in ignorance.
That's true.
I mean, I don't ever check the weather. So I assume every day I'm going to get up and it's not going to rain. I mean, I don't ever think about it. I don't ever think, it's not going to rain tomorrow. But I just don't think about rain, ever.
Colby laying in bed every morning.
It's never going to rain.
It can't be raining.
Thunder cracking, it's not going to rain today.
The only time I get my weather updates are through customers at the liquor store. They're always like, they don't have anything else to say. So they're like,
Yeah.
We're all
probably
about
going
to
to rain
die.
tomorrow. I'm like,
Well, you know what? And I went into the liquor store to pick up the liquor order for here earlier today, and there was a guy in line, and he was talking about some person and about blah, 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 blah. One of the details he shared about this person was that she had these short shorts that were hiked up so high that her whole crotch was hanging out. And I was like,
how did your whole crotch?
Yeah, I was like, why is that the bit of information that you needed to share to the cashier at the liquor store? While you bought
Perception.
cigarettes? Yeah.
Perception.
While you bought-
That was the most important thing on his head right there.
I don't get it, though. That's so
Dude,
weird.
okay, so the other day, I'm there and at the liquor store running the register. And there's a guy that comes in all the time. He's real cool. He's kind of hard to, he doesn't speak up very loud. He's kind of a quiet guy. And he comes in all the time and he's black. And he's just chilling, he wants to buy a Black and Mild, and he doesn't have enough money for it because it was like a couple cents more, and I was going to cover it, but he left beforehand. So he's sitting outside, and his car is parked right on the curb. And this dude comes in, this older fella, and probably 10 minutes later, he's still sitting out there. He's just kind of looking around for change in his car and talking on his phone and doing whatever, just being a regular person, And this older guy comes in and he's he buys 2 half gallons of whiskey, and he comes up and he says, "Is that guy out there causing you any trouble?" Or he said, "What's up with that?" And I said, you mean, and I said the guy's name, I was like, you mean him out there? Like,
Yeah.
he's just sitting out there looking for some change or something, like just being, doing whatever. And he's like, no, he's like, well, I saw him out there sitting right by there, and I thought, if he came in here, then if he was trying to start something, then I got these 2 bottles of whiskey. I hate to waste good whiskey. And I'm thinking, man, why are you living so stupid?
Why is it your thought?
Why
is that the first thing you think? And you, like you said, like blind positivity in the face of reality is stupidity, really. I think.
But it's the same. It's the same mindset as blind negativity.
Yeah, but like that's sheer ignorance.
Yeah.
That's not positivity, and that's not reality. That's that's ignorance.
And that's the stuff I see all the time. And you just hear stuff, and you're just like, and the bad part is it's perception. Like what you started to say about that person talking about the shorts. They want people come up to a customer or to their customers. They come up to the register and they want you to agree with them. Because they want it to be okay. They want their mindset.
Reality in their own head, which isn't really reality, which is crazy.
It's their reality.
It's their reality.
Because it's all, I'm telling you, it's all about perception. Perception is reality.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that.
Well, yeah, entirely. Because here's the thing. Here we go, Matt. This is the part I'm not allowed to talk about.
Alcohol. Oh, God, don't go time.
I'm not allowed to talk about this stuff on the podcast. But we're only given 5 senses, unless you come to this brewery. We're only given 5 senses. And within our bodies, we have these brains that are trying to make sense of everything through those 5 senses of the reality that's around us. So there's a lot of things that we just can't learn because our brains aren't evolved that far. We don't know what is real far out in space. We don't know what happens when you go through a black hole. There's a lot of things that we just simply don't understand. We don't have enough, we're just not educated.
Yeah.
And we don't have the observations to be able to collect enough data to actually make any form of understanding of anything. Because of that, reality is perception. So our reality is always changing and things are always evolving. Truth changes. Truth can never really be found in any point or whatever. But what you can do is you can take what you have learned. You can no longer be ignorant to whatever you do with each step that you figure out and move forward, like with you in taxes right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure now
like
I feel
you
way
said,
better about it. Next year, you're going to go into it and you're going to be like,
but see, so I disagree because, all right, so, what's in front of you?
What's in front of me?
2 glasses.
2 glasses.
That's truth.
Truth.
100% truth.
For sure.
Right. How much water has that got in it?
I don't know.
Exactly. It's got some.
Right.
Right? What color is it? Because that's where the conversation.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
I agree.
So there's truth, and then so if you say that truth constantly changes, somebody will look at that and say there's 5. Outside of a child.
Right.
Other than that, what color is that? That's your perception.
So what you're saying is you can take truth and you can kind of pull it together and create an actual truth.
Yeah.
But over the course of time, things have changed. I guess there is. I agree with you. There is truth.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Right.
There are objective truths.
But there are a lot of things that we consider truth
there's a lot of gray
that aren't there. So
right.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Tons of gray area. The reason why I don't want him to go there is because it needs a whole fucking episode to talk about.
No.
Time and space.
It will never happen on this podcast.
Have you found a channel called Kurt's Kazat?
I live in a shed right now.
Okay.
I don't get any
it's actually
service.
A pretty sweet shed, by the way. It is really a shed.
I do not get any service in there, and the internet people are like, it's going to be 2 weeks every time I call.
Enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
I just go home and drink some whiskey and chill out.
There's a YouTube channel called Kurt's Kazat, and it's like things explained or whatever, and it's like a science channel. It talks about black holes and blah, blah, and time and space and relativity and like stuff that you would love.
All up my alley.
And anytime I see a video pops up from now, I'm like, Colby should watch this. Because
I've probably seen something.
With no internet.
You could be here, like, as long as you're not, like,
And all my books are literally, I looked at some of my books last night, and it was like a song of England, the history of England. And I was like, how in the world did I even acquire these books? Like, up to this point, I have literally 7 books about the history of England. And I don't know why.
I'll tell you this, like the most obscure shit that you never think would influence your life will. The videos that pop up on your feed, you're just like, I don't give a shit about this. And then you watch it and you're like, oh.
This
I've
just
never
changed
thought
my
about it. I never
perception
thought
on
about that.
something.
That's so true.
Like the shit that you like, because if you stay in that rut of like for me, like I like fly fishing, because that's what, like, if you look at my feed, that's all it is people who fish, people who fly fish, people, guides, industry people, and then like you step out of that and you're like, oh, I like that, like, and I feel like social media has really crippled us into riding a rut.
Yeah.
And I think that
so.
like disagreements and the fact that people have so strongly one-sided views come directly from that, because there is such an influx of information and we're picking and choosing what we're absorbing.
And you've got
and you
people
have to be
validating
able
it, like
to.
you said about that guy, the catch. You have so many people on your feed that you've curated that are validating those same thoughts and opinions.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, if that guy walked up and said that shit to me, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, I've said that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I grew up in Southern Ohio.
Yep.
And honestly, from the racism standpoint,
Dude.
I am the least racist person there is. I don't judge anybody by what they look like. Now, as soon as you open your mouth, that's a different story.
Yeah, it's a different story.
That's a different
You're
story.
bringing actual, like, relevant context for us to be able to understand who you are.
There was one time I was working at the school, and I'm not going to name drop anybody, and I guarantee they don't watch this podcast anyway. But
I hope they do.
I was working at the school, and there
they do.
were some people that I was working with at the time. We were just sitting down having lunch, regular day, and a high schooler had posted a picture. It was two girls, and they were kissing, and it created. I went to a school very small. I worked at a very small school. Created a ton of controversy. They were talking about how gross it was, how this shouldn't be on the internet, and I'm just sitting there trying to eat my lunch. I try to stay in my own lane until the point where I feel like I can't anymore. And this is one of those days where I just couldn't do it anymore. And they were talking and they were talking and they were talking and they were talking, and finally I just was like, like, as much as I like you guys, you're missing the whole point here. The thing is, if this was this football player, and I said a kid's name, and it was this girl who gets these good grades, and they were kissing, would you say the same thing?
Right.
Not at all.
I said, my roommate is gay, and he's a better person than anybody sitting at this table.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I threw my tray away, and I walked out. Because sometimes you have to hit people with a little bit of reality, and I never once had another conversation like that with them.
But the thing is, Colby, like, you didn't change your perception.
No.
Yeah, not
It
at all.
wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's the shitty thing. That's, like, something I hate is about, it's not just this area, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You can blame Southern Ohio or whatever it is, or small town. It's everywhere. You go to a big city, you go to another country, that same shit's everywhere, man. And I hate that it is everywhere, because like you said, some of the best people I've ever met are gay or blah, 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 or X, Y, and
Just
Z.
different than
X,
you.
Y, and Z that get hated on by other people just because they're X, Y, or Z.
Dude, I give zero shits who you are or what your preference is. I really do. Like, I judge people by their actions and how they carry themselves. And the sad thing is okay. So we just talked about, if I'm breaking it down straight up, black-white racism, and we also just talked about straight gay hate, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are the two things that we just talked. When those go away, which honestly, if you look at the trend, they eventually will.
Yeah.
There'll
they
be
will.
something else.
Yeah, it'll be something else.
It'll be
It will.
something else. It'll be
Something else
like,
pop up.
Matt wears glasses and we don't. Look
Yeah.
at him. I mean, that happens right now.
I got made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got made fun of last week for that. I had someone literally grab my glasses
He's
off my
wearing boat
face.
shoes. I mean, it's like, where do we? You will never draw. You will never.
You're
draw.
wearing blue. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's just there will always be some level of ignorance
Yeah.
that
Because it's simply not knowing. It's not understanding. And it's not accepting things.
Right.
That things are different
that was
sometimes.
taught.
Yeah.
100% taught.
100%.
I said to
agree.
someone recently that a lot of people I don't think like it because they don't want to look at it that way, but children are 100% a result of parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Like,
And a
y'all
generation is
Generational too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of influence early.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like I say, that's an arbitrary number. Probably not 100%. Let's say 80% parents. Then you have all your other influences and all that stuff. But so arbitrarily, yeah, it's probably not 100%. But they're a result of the parents, the environment, the upbringing, whatever they're exposed to, blah blah blah, whatever. And a lot of parents don't want to look at that, but like they are. And hate is taught, as is, I think, resourcefulness, as is people that are. I mean, I said it was never like forced on me by my parents or anything, but like I've always felt that. like I need to have everything figured out and my shit together. And I even had a conversation with my dad, and he said, I didn't really figure things out until I was about 33. So I realized I was gonna, and I was like, fuck, I'm 30. Like, and he said, well, because he actually,
time.
yeah, he was actually, yeah. And I had a conversation here recently with 2 of our regulars, and the wife was talking about how the husband was like 35 before he ever, and this is the guy that I look at and I go, he's successful.
He's figured it all
Yeah,
out.
he's figured it all out. He's successful. Man, he must have had a plan from the, that was my perception of him.
Probably didn't.
He didn't. She was like, he didn't know what the hell he wanted to do until he was 35.
See, and that's the thing, that's where I feel like we missed the mark with people like Aiden. With at 18, you were literally, for the most part, your parents, your teachers, your friends, and your environment, and culture in general, TV, media, all that stuff. Those are your influences. They create you. At that point, once you're 18, 19 years old, you go off on your own. You fuck up a lot. You learn. You create. If you don't want to watch TV, you don't have to anymore. If you don't want to go to school, you don't have to anymore. If you don't want to be around your parents, you don't have to anymore. You can make those decisions. So that's why, like you said, 30. I feel like it takes a good amount of time from the point that you realize that to figure yourself out. You figure out your weaknesses. I'm bad with money. Myself, I'm really bad with money. I know that. So I take my money
and
I put
worries me the amount of money you've been making here.
I put my money towards bills.
You do what?
I put my money towards bills.
Yeah.
I don't spend. I quit buying clothes. I never buy clothes anymore.
Good.
If I buy clothes, they're work clothes or they're white plain t-shirts. I wear the same pants all the time. I would buy a pair of boots that last a long time, and I know I'm not ever going to spend money on those things.
Yeah.
I try not to spend money on things that I want. However, all my money that I do make goes either towards bills or things that I want to achieve in my future in some form or another, or to help
Good.
somebody.
Good.
We started this all on timing, and you laid it out. So that whole, you get out of high school and you do whatever it is, and when you say you fuck up a lot, yes and no. I feel like every time you fuck up, it should lead into maybe a series of not so bad of fuck ups.
Yeah.
But when you look back, it's all on you. And I
think all my
and you
fuck ups
stop
are dots
throwing the
connecting. I think all my fuck ups are dots
typically
connecting.
they are.
If you connect them.
But I see a trend in like a lot of like what I see, and I understand that like this, it comes from social media, and it's what I see. I don't have cable television. I choose not to watch shit like that.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
For
I
sure.
cable.
I mean, I'm like everybody else in the United States. I get my news from Facebook. But seriously,
Not Twitter?
there's so many people that like they fuck up and they fall on their face, and then they're looking for somebody to blame. Like it's not. Nobody is there to blame but you.
But you.
Yeah.
I mean, situationally, like, okay, it rained and you hydroplaned, but you still can't fucking drive, right? So
Yeah.
that's the root cause of it.
Yeah. You know if it's raining, how to drive.
I
mean,
love
that's-
how I love how real and this all that is because it's so true. People will blame the hydroplaning. I was driving from Chillicothe Friday,
And you're pissed.
and I hydroplaned.
Everybody
And-
but yourself.
No. I was like, oh fuck, I need to drive better. And I had one hand on the wheel, and I put my other hand on the wheel, and I slowed down. I started paying more attention to where the rain was falling on the
Exactly.
road to know where it would go, because if it's going to go in the ruts of the road, and blah blah blah. It's going to be hard to like you can avoid that if you're paying attention. But I know that because I was taught that.
Dude,
And
I took my sister out driving today.
how old is your sister?
She is 20, but it's a little more difficult than
Okay.
that. There's a little more to the story.
I thought so.
But she, oh my God. I literally held the wheel a little bit here and there, but other times I said, if you want to run into, this is my attitude. I said, if you want to hit that tree, just keep driving that direction. If not, straighten up your wheel. If you want to wreck into this hill, keep
but
going.
consequences and actions, man.
You have to learn. You have to understand what's going to happen if you do this and what's going to happen if you do that. And
But so even that, like talking about like how now, you 30, that pushing 30, you're learning financial stability, right? It's all about, and you talk about graduating high school and what do you want to do? Okay, so right now, and this is just my opinion, college education, I think we've cheapened it so much that I don't really know what it's worth anymore, outside of very specific. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer.
We've said that 1,000
I'm
times
going
on
to
here.
go do this,
Yeah.
and I'm going to stay in this box. But one thing that I don't think that we stress, and like you still got to pay your bills, boo boo. Like like if you want to peddle baseball cards, that's cool. I mean, if that's your love and that's your passion, I understand that you're probably not going to be able to pay rent with that.
Yep. And if you want to, you're going to have to work 24 hours a day.
Well, and so I don't have a lot of sympathy when I hear bitching from people about not being able to make ends meet and, hey, you know, I don't have any money. Till you're working 80 hours a week, either at a job or pushing your little side gig or whatever, until you're exhausted, like pre-30, dude, don't come at me bitching.
Yep.
Like because so I'm 35. I've got a 5-month-old. I've got a lovely wife. I've got a mortgage. We've got car payment. We've got bills. Like I'm slowing down to the point where I'm like, like that 80-hour-a-week thing is I got to throttle it back. But if you're 25 and you're pushing 32 or 40 hours a week, forget that.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. I think so many people think that
they're lazy,
and I get so damn bored. I went down. I worked.
You work every fucking day ever, always.
Today's my day off, dude. I'm so pumped. This is my first day off in a while.
First day off in a long time. He really, like, seriously.
Good for you.
Like, because you should. Because my thing is, I never want to fucking retire. Never. I want to work.
Die before when I retire.
Yeah.
That'll be it.
Yeah.
That's retiring for me. You quit working, you quit doing what you care about. I love my jobs. I love working here, love giving people a beer. I do. Makes them smile, gives them a good time, and I have a good time doing it. I love selling alcohol to people down at the liquor store. I like giving kids candy, whatever it might be. Like
you like alcohol. It's cool.
I do like alcohol.
I'm there with you.
But you know, you just if you don't enjoy what you're doing, get out of it. I loved working at the school, but it wasn't making me happy at the end of the day. I couldn't be myself.
And I sent mine a message. There's that balance. Like, I get it. Like, there's a lot of things. Like, if I were to really boil down Ellis King and, like, what would make me, like, purely happy, it's probably different from what I'm doing right now. You got to have a balance between what you really love to do and what you're doing to pay your bills.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that I know that are working 40-hour-a-week jobs, making not that great of money. They're fucking really happy.
Yeah.
Because you know what? They're clocking out at whatever time they are using their income from another means that they may hate.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really enjoy it, but they're doing something they love when they get off.
Yeah.
Or you have guys that are guys and gals that are rolling 6 figures and are miserable because they don't have any time to do the things they love. It's that balance. Yeah. And then if you can, by chance, and trust me, when I'm getting ready to say something, if you can by chance find that, like, I can make a lot of money or I can make enough money to support my family, to support what I like to do, doing the things I love, you get the golden ticket.
Yeah, for sure.
And those expenses get more and more as you get older and as your responsibilities grow and as you want more things. But
dude, I've always been so jealous of professional golfers. If I could spend all day, every day golfing, I would do it.
You think that, and
I
from a guy who was a diehard fly angler and then started a business in it, takes a lot of the love away from it.
That's true.
Takes a lot of
That's
love.
true.
I agree. When you start doing something,
but winning something, like golf winning, when I win money or when I win a game or beat somebody, it doesn't matter. Like, if my hands hurt or I'm sore or I'm tired or I had a big ass cut on my finger for the past 3 weeks and I golfed so much, I won. That's like, now losing consistently, I don't think I could keep doing it forever. But if I could golf all day, every day and do it well,
I feel it. Losing consistently is how I feel I've been with my music. I mean, there's been wins, there's been little wins, but it's been like L.
But hold on, like, do you enjoy what you were doing?
I love it.
The whole time?
Absolutely
right?
love it.
You loved it?
Yeah.
If a record exec walked in today and said, I want 3 songs for $1 million, would you do it? But we're going to change it a little bit. We just want to buy the lyrics. Because you like to write, right?
I love to write.
Ooh.
However, if someone just wanted my lyrics, I'd write them their own songs. If they wanted to take from my songs...
If they came in here and watched you play and said, did you write that? And you say, yeah. I said, I want to buy it. $250,000, I want to buy that song right now. Would you do it?
Probably not.
There's the balance.
But it's according to what benefit, what I could do with $250,000. Because I can always write better songs.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I can always write better songs. $250,000
I'd be like,
gives me so much.
File.
That gives you so much room to do what you want to do. And I don't write cheap songs. So if they want to take those lyrics, great. they can do whatever the hell they want with them. Yeah, sure, more power to them.
There's that fine line, and it's different than the music industry, but there's that fine line between, being pure and all that stuff, and then selling out. Mm-hmm. There's that line, and where do you draw it? Because I'm gonna be honest, and that first $1 million check, like what rod company do you want me to rep? I mean, the fact that if I look at my dream job, like 4 days a week on the water, I just got to go fish and put content out there and completely supplement my income. Yeah, I'm there. What else you want me to do? Do you want me to wipe my ass with their wipes? I don't care. You want me to take one of these coats? I'm not going to name drop any companies because you never know.
Yeah.
Like one of these coats and wipe my ass with it. Like, give me $1 million. Yeah, I'm cool.
I think beyond professional golfers, because I think golf is a sport you can play. And I was watching the Masters last week and all that, and Tiger and blah blah blah. But like, I've always been so jealous because they do get to play a game, and it's not really that hard of a game physically. You can play it for a long time.
It's mental.
It's a mental game, and I love that part of it. That's what I love about golf. And I also love beating other people because I'm competitive and blah 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 and all that stuff. But like, I think they've won the lottery in life. From afar, I'm sure some of them are miserable, but from afar they've won the lottery. I think the only other people I think that are close to that would be actors, actresses, and then maybe like YouTube people.
See, but the thing is with any of that stuff is in order to get to that point, you have to lock yourself in a room and think about nothing but golf for so long.
Yeah,
you have to perfect it and perfect it and perfect it. And that's the same thing you're doing right now.
With media.
You're just in a different environment to where you have to translate that to golfing or to media, to working here, managing here,
I taught you
and doing that.
The things we talked about were efficiency and then
the same question for you, because photography and videography, it's an art form.
Yeah.
Like I fully believe that.
It is.
So what happens when somebody asks you to come shoot something that you're like, my heart's not in it, but here's the paycheck.
Paycheck. I will take the paycheck.
There's the balance.
Because the paycheck allows me to then either get something else to help me create better art that I want to.
It's a catalyst to build your artwork.
Yes.
See, if someone told me, hey, come sing my songs and here's $1 million, probably not going to do it. That's where I draw the line.
$1 million?
And I know that sounds ignorant on my
No.
behalf. But for me, now, if they wanted my songs to give to someone else, totally cool with that. I'll sell my songs to other people. But I will not perform other people's songs for money, because that's just not me.
That's good. I mean,
because that's not me creating anything.
It's very good moral fiber.
See, I don't like using other people's footage. I don't like using anything someone else shoots, which is more probably me just being an art snob than it is anything else.
Probably.
But also there are other things that, like, I was presented a job with drone footage that someone else had shot, and it's a paid job, so legally I can't use that drone footage because somebody who was not certified to be a drone pilot shot that footage.
Right.
Even though they did it completely safe, completely, like, it was all fine. Legally though, FAA rules, I have to be the one. I have to either be observing the person filming as the they call it visual observer on the rope, pilot command, whatever. I have to be there observing, or I have to shoot it myself to be able to use it. And I told him that. I was like, I can't. So we reshot everything. I used all my footage for that reason. But also, like, I want to shoot something that I shot because I like the way
you want to edit what you did.
Yeah, I want to edit what I did because.
Well, and it's the experience. You were there. You were behind the controls.
Yes.
You were behind the strings. You were behind.
If someone told me here's 3 hours of footage and here's $10,000, make something out of it, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Even if it's junk.
Yeah.
Even if it's something you don't want to do.
Yeah, because again, it is, you said, it's a catalyst. It's something that allows me, either gives me more time to breathe, so I don't have to feel like I need to make a bunch of money, or it gives me the money to be able to buy something that's going to help me make better stuff or whatever it is. It's all.
See, for me, it's different because, like, art, I feel like with music, if you put a song out and no one likes it or no one believes it, it's easy to go, okay, and no matter what that person puts out next, you're either going to have, it's just not going to be picked up as, and it's not going to be received the same way because the general public doesn't receive it that way. So for me, it's like, I wouldn't want to sing someone else's songs because that's not going to give you an idea of who I am as an artist. That's going to give you an idea of my voice. And I'm not a singer, I'm a writer.
Okay. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No,
I mean, that
100% makes sense.
But what about using someone else's songs and making paychecks on Fridays and Saturday nights singing?
Now, Jimmy Vest wrote my songs. or
Okay.
someone who I 100%
Okay.
believed in and was with their
Like,
art, that's different.
One of the artists that's coming in here soon has like 3,000 or 4,000 people on Facebook that like his page and blah blah blah. And he plays all the time. He makes several $100s when he plays here. Like that's and he works a full-time job, but like on Saturday night he makes a couple $100
It's good cash money,
Yeah,
man.
to sing for a couple hours, and he's got a bunch of people that are observing him on social media and all that. Like, what about building a platform first?
See, I've had platforms. I've been
Yeah.
there. I've had 4,000 people listening to my music. I've had thousands of people listening to my music. You know, I've been there. What I want is my art.
Yeah,
It
okay.
is art first.
Art above all.
Music is just the format for the art. It's the
I gotcha.
because I live in my head. I'm a really weird person. I have an
Newsflash,
imagination
you are really weird.
that is absolutely crazy. I mean, it is.
Aiden, do you know that he's really weird?
I mean, we
He
have
knows.
talked about black holes and alternate reality and shit.
But my
I feel like I
imagination.
struck a nerve. Maybe I shouldn't have went to that sellout.
Oh no,
point.
you're
okay,
good.
it's okay.
You're good. But for me, you know, that's my world that I want to share with other people.
Yeah.
If I can't share that world with other people, then it's my purpose for being a singer
Yeah.
is not there because
Then it's not worth it.
Right.
I gotcha. That's because the whole reason.
it's like
why you
putting
did
a
it.
bad voice into a microphone.
Yeah.
Just because I'm the microphone doesn't mean that like you
should
can
sound good.
give someone the nicest microphone, and if their message isn't any good, if their voice doesn't sound good, I mean, it's not going to be
Yeah.
heard well.
So we are over the hour mark, so I'm going to wrap things up. But I just want to ask you a couple questions. You ship internationally, correct?
do.
Like all across the world?
I've shipped United Kingdom, New Zealand, all across the lower 48.
And this is out of Gallia County, Galapagos, Ohio.
Gay County, River Tactical Flies.
Yeah. Which I don't think many people know about. Someone asked me who was on the podcast tonight, and I told him it was Ellis King, River Tactical Flies. He ships across the country, across the world, from what I've been told. And he's like, no shit. I was like, hey, you didn't know about him, did you? And I was like, yeah, he's doing it in the basement.
Yep.
From just you tying flies, correct?
So I do a great deal. I do quite a bit depending on what we're doing. And I got 4 guys that tie for
Yeah, but
me.
now 4 guys tie for
Yeah.
you as well.
So-
Just all in Gallia County, Ohio, small town. You said when we started that it was, you said one of the only and the only one in Southern Ohio doing this, right?
Yes,
And I think
100%.
that's a huge credit to you and to what you're doing because, I mean, not a lot of people know that. And it's crazy. Like, people that know you know that, but like, not a lot of people know that it's happening here in
And a
Southern
lot of
Ohio.
people in Southern Ohio don't know that the fishing opportunities that are here. I mean,
That's true.
I fish in Southern Ohio primarily. I mean, I travel to West Virginia and Southern West Virginia a lot. It's where I'll be going this weekend to do some conservation work. But I fish Gallia, Jackson, Vinton, Meigs County quite a bit. In the summers, I'm out on the river, the only dude with a fly rod.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean,
It is awesome. And actually, the first time he ever told me that, I was like, no way. And he was like, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, because I think fly fishing, I think Alaska.
yeah.
I think those crazy big.
Yeah, fuck Alaska.
No,
I mean, that's what most people
what everybody
probably
thinks,
think,
yeah.
I would assume,
I was
right?
like, what are you doing out on the river? It's 90 degrees, and like, I'm buried. What's interesting about what I'm doing? I'm in such a niche market, in such a terrible area to be in it.
Yeah.
So like, most of my stuff is online, and we do custom orders for guys and gals going to Wyoming, Montana, California. Like, if I get a lot of that, like, executives, they don't have time to go to a fly shop, which I always recommend. Support your local fly shop. When you land, wherever you're going, go to the local place, ask them. But if you're looking to spend $300 or $400 and get the best bang for your buck, between me and my guys and the contacts that we have, we'll get it for you.
Yeah. And how did you learn all of this?
Just
Like, I mean, not just like tying lines and flies and all that stuff, like, but like selling
Distributing,
online,
or
distribution, and all that.
it's been a 6-year. So this
Like
last
self-taught-
couple of
self-taught
years,
though?
yeah, a lot of mistakes. Again, I've had the IRS in my basement. You just learn to make better business decisions.
Yep.
Like, you buy something and just because you're passionate about it, and this kind of wraps up over, just because you're really passionate about a product,
Yeah.
doesn't mean shit if
Or
somebody's
thing.
not going to buy it.
Or things.
Especially if you're trying to sell it.
Right,
I
that-
mean,
That first video I made for that big company here in town, I fucking loved it. I was like, yes, this is so good.
Nailed it.
They're gonna love it, and they fucking hated it.
Right.
And they hated it's like 6 or 7 different iterations of that video until I finally gave up on my own fucking snobby high horse the video and put the things they wanted in the video.
Right.
That they paid me thousands and thousands of dollars for, which was fine, but like, I wanted to do my own thing with it, but that wasn't the thing they wanted. And I had to realize, no, I gotta take a step back and give them the product they want because I want to do more business for them. And I'm actually now, I just delivered a video last week for them again.
And the problem is like what's different from actually what both of you guys kind of do is, all right, so if the customer, the feedback's not good, you kind of go back to the drawing board and you change up the chords, you change up the lyrics, or you change up how you edited the video. If I buy $2,000 worth of shit that I'm just retailing and I don't sell it, I just ate it.
Yeah.
Like, it ends up I end up giving it away after because really your inventory turn for a business like mine is a year and a half, 2. If you haven't turned it in 2 years, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
that's like, there's albums that I've written, recorded, done months of pre-production for, went in, actually produced the record, had the post-production done, and then we just look at it and we're like, nah.
All that money just gone.
And you're like, whoa, we not only that, but we told people it's going to be done. We did all this promotional material. We set up shoots and this and that. And it's frustrating to do so much and then it not be received in the same way that you imagine it in your head.
Right.
And that's why, I mean, honestly, if you imagine in your head and you have all the resources, you should be able to sell it. Sometimes it's just getting those resources and understanding reality.
And so I'll be honest, like, so I'm in the IRS technically 6th, but 7th year. And, I was passionate about when I started this business, and I really thought it was going to be at some point my sole income. And it may be. I got a lot of things on the back burner and irons in the fire. But things change a lot. And like I said, your dreams, like my dream 7 years ago of me and Ashley living in a little 2-bedroom house, and I was stressed at work, and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna start tying flies.
Yep.
And that's what started it. But that's that very static, like focused, laser focused dream. So back then, if you'd have said, are you gonna get married? I'd have said no. And if you said, are you gonna have a kid? I'd have said no. And they said, are you gonna own a nice house sitting on the hill? I'd have said no. So fast forward 7 years, I'm 35 years old. I've got a beautiful baby boy, beautiful wife, nice house. Things have worked out for me.
Yeah.
And so my focus hasn't shifted completely. It's just been distributed a little different. So like the business essentially pays for itself as long as I can cover the domain fees and to keep the guys that are tying flies for me paid. And the customer's happy, man. I'm good with it. And then if it pops and it's the next multi-million-dollar thing,
great.
Then yeehaw.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, man, my priorities are my family, and I enjoy being up here with you guys. But again, that's 3 hours that I'm not with them. So
Yeah, for sure.
So we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Thanks for
Colby,
having me.
really enjoyed it.
Actually, be back on here again and talk for a little bit. Aiden, thank you so much. We're out, people. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Yeah.